Hello and welcome to the CDO magazine interview series. My name is Marcus Hartmann and I'm partner of PwC. And today I have really the pleasure to talk with Michael Zimmer from Zurich Insurance in Germany. Hello, Michael.
Yeah, so I'm Michael Zimmer. I'm the Chief Data Officer of Zurich Germany, head of AI.
So platforms is a mega term, been used everywhere. But what is your understanding on and what is your thought about a data analytical platform from the let's say concept point of view, but also where typically these kind of platforms are sit and what it really doesn't mean from the business point of view on your end.
So I would say, especially with in AI, with the hyperscalers, having cloud-based platforms are a game changer. Just because of the functionalities, but you see also with LLMs, what they are bringing in, they are there with the cloud. They also can be a risk. So it's important to govern them and know what's in there. If we talk about data platforms in general, I would step back a bit because if I look at my data history, in the beginning of 2007 or something like that, I was in projects with old-fashioned SaaS-based projects. We had platforms, they were in Subversion. They had the modules, the control files were external. You could deploy with the push of a button from development to test to production without changing any code. Nowadays, you would call it DevOps or MLOps. The important thing with platforms for me is I want to have integration patterns. I want to have frameworks that help me to manage it. So I like lazy people that automate. And if I look at the platforms, they are quite powerful. They can do everything, but they are not automated normally. And also, if you talk to the hyperscalers, we want to do MLOps, DevOps, tell us how to do in a standard. There is no standard. And I think that's the important thing with a platform. My personal view is I don't care about what kind of the powerful platforms I use. The one is there, I will use because it will has 80% of the functionality. But I normally invested in structures to make it stable, to automate it, to have integration patterns. And I think that's the important thing for me. Also, if you look at the moment, what's happening with the hyperscalers, with cloud factories, end-to-end things, where they integrate LLMs and stuff like that, will be interesting. But I would be, from a data platform perspective, I would be interested to have cognitive services to get outliers in my data prep, to get better data quality rules based on AI. And all the time when I'm talking with the data vendors, no, that's not on our focus. We will use now LLMs that you can speak with your data. But the data processing thing, that's also something what's important. And I think there plays the magic because we need the right data. We need the ownership. And from my point of view, the companies will be successful that have their own data that can provide it in a high quality way very fast. So therefore, platforms is important, but if you have end-to-end, best of breed, whatever, make sure that you have the right skills for your people, see what they have. And sometimes it's better to have not the newest and fancy thing and you are aware of it, but you know that you can bring your people to the next levels in a plan with 5 years. So there we are with strategy again. It's better than just going to the next hype, buying the next solution, because if you listen to the consulting and the vendor market, the next big thing is always the next thing you should do. But from my experience over the last 20 years, there are some patterns that are always relevant. So listen also to your data experts. They don't know the new technologies, but they knew what went wrong in the last 20 years. And that's also something that you should take into account. And data platforms, they evolve, they are nothing new. They stay in place for 10 years, 15 years. Our data warehouse, 20 years. So be aware that it's a long time run and you shouldn't change your horse every 3 months because then you won't bond.
Many thanks, Michael. How do you handle data governance and quality at Zurich Insurance? Can you explore on this?
So we have several areas. So from group level, we have group data owners that are responsible for certain domains. in my area in Germany, we started more than a year ago to define a new policy data management where I said I want to have something that the people understand. So not a policy from a legal point of view, something where we say what kind of roles, what do we need to do. There is a SharePoint involved. There are descriptions and stuff like that, that the people know what to do. We also talked to our C-levels, and I said I don't want to have a big bang. We will roll it out in waves. So now we started, for example, with the finance domain, FinOps domain. So there, and to bring the people to our data catalog stuff, to our processes up and running. We also brought them into our delivery and prioritization process, because for them, if they are part of this game, it's easier to do a prioritization for them or with them, so they get things faster normally. But we are rolling out the domain owners. And what I like there, I had a meeting a while ago where the people were showing what they did, how they defined data quality rules on their own now, how they are trying to measure it. We also need to say at the moment, not all DQ metrics are there. We have the warehouse, which is quite good. Sometimes we have expert judgments, but if we have them, they are based on defined rules that we say, okay, this is the thing you need to apply. And we are working on it, but I think the essential thing with governance is you need to take the people with you. And I believe data is something where you need hubs and spokes. So you need centralized platforms, experts for performance in IT, but you also need the business owners that are also doing data management, and you need to bring them together. So the roles are one thing. The other thing is to have joint meetings, to bring them together, to show that they face the same problems. Business needs to understand why are some standards and policies that they need to apply from IT. There is a reason. When they understand, they do. Business IT also needs to understand that business are good programmers. And my biggest smile event last year was I started some kind of data afternoons where we invented IT people, the business people, the AI people, all kind of. And normally it was from the IT side. The business people, yeah, it's some kind of shadow IT, and this noun is not as positive. And when we were there, we had IT people that, hey, in this room, I like it because our data experience is sitting in one room. And I think also with this mind change, you can work together, you can take over ownership, you understand why a lake is different than a data warehouse. But if business wants to bring in data in the lake, they need to have some structures in place that it's handleable. And I think that's also success. And data quality in the end is an outcome. And maybe to talk about matrix, we have group matrix that we need to fulfill. It's also important for our business. But if we want to change, we also need to go to the operational systems. But also there, if we have the business on our side, we can argue in a different way. And we normally also get changes in the operational systems and are not needed again to do it later on in a lake or in a warehouse. So that's the good thing here, where we work together.
Okay, last question here. Does it mean that let's say the mandate for the data governance sits in your organization, or is this somewhere else in the firm?
So as Chief Data Officer, I have the mandate for data governance and data strategy, which means I have some kinds of agreement with information governance, IT security, the GDPR compliance and audit functions. But in the end, for the non-operational systems, I'm the owner. We also know the structures that I'm defining are also relevant for operational, because if we see we have two claim systems, they come together in the lake. So we need to make sure that the domain over for claims is solving it not only in the lake, but also in the other systems. So I'm responsible for that. That's also part of my group definition of my role. It's also a fact that it's some kind of discussion with the other stakeholders, because it's not black and white. But yeah, I have this responsibility, and sometimes I'm in the lead for other topics. or I'm also supporting for other registers with my structures. But what we make sure for sure is, so our data catalog is used for other topics too. If there are other requirements, we will integrate it in our structures, that we have a aligned tool set, because I think that's the important thing to keep it consistent.
And now the very last question, and maybe you can give us just a snippet here around generative AI, and what are your plans really to manage all these magic requirements for using generative AI from the governance point of view? Do you have already any plans in your head or already ongoing? Can you share this with us?
So we have a group governance that we were building together. One thing is we have already some kind of ethical AI framework with a EU Act, where depending on how you use the LLMs, it's a low to high risk case. So this is something where we assess our cases. Besides that, we have some guidelines from the group, which are also, we need to use our own instances. It's not possible for us to use some kind of open things where we aren't owners of the data. So these are things that we're doing. Based on this, we have some kind of quality gates. I'm quite happy with most of the structures because we can work with it. Sometimes there is a limitations about what is the newest tool we can use or not. So there is some kind of delay, but I want to generate benefit. And do I need the most fancy chatbot in an insurance where I can also force the bot to give almost every answer if I just ask long enough? And by the way, if the chatbot is saying in some point in your coverage, it's included, then it's written. We need to write that down and it's part of something, even if it's wrong. So that's something where we need to think about. But bringing LLMs into existing solutions, it won't be high risk cases. It's powerful in input management. It's powerful for our claims handlers to summarize things, but the claims handler will always be in the loop. So for me, I want to use it in my bread and butter business till we also know that our stable versions where we know hallucination is not the standard. Because I talked to some marketing guys. For them, Gen AI is perfect. They have with their marketing platforms A/B tests, and it's just a matter of an A/B test. But we need to be right in many cases as industry. So for us, it's slightly different, and we are highly regulated. Nevertheless, I have a huge list of cases where I want to use it, where we will use it, and we will generate value out of this for us, for our customers, for our agents. But it's not the fancy hype and almighty chatbot. It's more the capability of the model in our core processes. And there it will be powerful. And I like the possibilities that I see.
Excellent, Michael. Many, many thanks for all your insights today. And thank you, Michael Zimmer from Zurich Insurance Group in Germany, for joining me today for this interview. Many, many thanks. And please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. And thank you so much and take care and see you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.